Good afternoon, gardening friends, and whoops, it's Monday. um, I forgot to record yesterday. Fortunately, these are all on a delay, so you're not going to notice that right away. Mailman's on his way, but I did want to show you something in the front yard. I've gone a little bit crazy with the solar garden lights. This is not really a gardening thing, but it goes in the garden, and it's something that I've been working on for years. Actually, I've been taking your basic dollar store garden lights and replacing the lights with colors or patterns, or it could be a blinking LED, it could be an RGB LED. There are different things you can do. You just have to have a little bit of know-how. And I think I got a couple of videos elsewhere on the channel if you want to go look for those, or maybe I can even pop up a little card so you can see it. Yeah, so I mean, I was thinking I was going to go all the way around the yard. So you can see I got one there, and I was going to get a couple up by the window there. But I actually have been thinking about it, and if you look at the spacing between them, I think we could actually make them closer together. I think it would look better. So I think I'm ultimately just going to put them along the wall here, even though we got all these weird little jogs in the wall, and then end with that last one you see on the right there, so that we're not having to worry about stepping on them and what have you. And by the way, we're not really mowing the lawn nearly as much because it hasn't been quite as warm. So even Southern California, it does get cooler. So anyway, let's move on. This is the gardening video, so let's talk about the garden. I guess that kind of was the garden, but I did notice today, and this wouldn't have been there yesterday, are these little tent things they hang in the tree. And what that's about, and actually you can see we've got a couple of tangerines that are starting to turn, and some other clusters, and say it's not really supposed to happen just yet. This is more of a January, February thing, and it's the end of November right now. So I'm not sure what to think, but then they've also got the glass pot up there. They're basically looking for bad insects, like mosquitoes that carry disease. So they hang them in our fruit trees, and there's not much we can say about it. Is that a bird or a rock? Yeah, it's a bird. There he goes up the hill. I was going to say there's not much we can say about the traps in the trees, but they don't really bother us, except that we're supposed to be careful about handling them or anything like that. So we'll see. If we end up picking fruit, we'll just pick around them. Looking at this part of the garden here, I have been harvesting some of the nasturtium and some of the Swiss chard and putting them in salads. I basically want to keep the plants harvested so that it'll encourage some growth. Unfortunately, nothing seems to be growing in this one pot. I don't know what's going on with this box. It looks like there's just a couple of weeds in there. Another one right there. But that's kind of what that's looking like. Let's move on. Okay, the Swiss chard hasn't wilted yet today, and it'll get water tomorrow. But look, we've got some nasturtium, and it seems to be reaching for the sun. We've got what looks like it might be another nasturtium plant growing in there. The Swiss chard, like I said, has been harvested, so that's looking a little bit better. More nasturtium in that pot. And let me walk around here. All the ugly pool equipment, but that's what you need if you have a pool. The celery, looking kind of nice. It's spreading out more. It's not as compact as I expected, but I suppose when you buy it in the store, they've probably just simply formed it up like that. So that might look a little bit like celery to you. So we'll see if we can use that in a soup or something. The bean plants are growing reasonably well. Things are getting taller. That's a good thing. I can see growth in that third pot. So you can kind of see what that looks like. The stuff that was already up is turning yellow and mostly dying. And at some point I may just go through and clear a bunch of this out. Let's see what the rest of it looks like. So it has been cooler, and let's see, I've been trying to get the flowers off of the basil plants, but you can see I think last week's video I mentioned that I had already pulled a bunch of stuff off of the basil plants because I decided to make pesto. Actually came out pretty good. It's a little on the intense side, but not as intense as I thought it could be, and I think that's because these plants are kind of tired. But I don't know. I'm trying to look for like new growth on here, and I'm not seeing much. So I may end up harvesting a bunch more, grinding it up and making even more pesto, and then just putting these plants to bed for the season. We'll see. Look at that nasturtium. Wow. I'm a happy camper. More nasturtium. No flowers here, but there were on the side. We've got the cherry pick pepper with several peppers on it. We got the other cherry pick pepper with peppers on it, just waiting for them to actually turn. We've got the other basil plant doing pretty nicely. Sorry, I guess I got to back up a little and not go in the pool so you can see it. So that's what that's all looking like. So things are doing fairly well, and we have one more thing. Kind of got me busy this past week. And let me pan along here so you can see Mom and Dad's handiwork. And then I'll go back a little bit and you can see some of Dad's roses looking pretty nice. We cut these things back hard and then they come back like that. It's amazing. We cut them down to like a couple of inches off the ground, and that's how they bounce back. So that's really impressive. But what's even more impressive is one that Mom got as a cutting from a friend, and it grew so much that we had to put up a trellis. That's one rose plant. It's just amazing how tall that sucker gets. So Dad's birthday present to himself this year was buying that trellis. Get up a little closer so you can kind of see the model, kind of see what it looks like. And I spent some time making sure it was properly mounted to the wall so we don't have to worry about it blowing over in the wind. So it is actually mounted to the wall, even though it kind of looks like it's freestanding. And we've retrained the rows, so initially it's going to look a little bit off, a little bit maybe heavier on the right than on the left, but overall, looking good. And so that's pretty much it for this week. That's the update from the garden. This is the Budget Gardener signing off saying, stay healthy, folks. Take care of yourselves, take care of your families, take care of the people you love, and may your thumb be green.